Welcome back into your only source for Laker sports, a brand new season of Laker Connections, season 21 to be exact. I'm Ryan Joyce.
And I'm Zach Malamud. Ryan, an absolutely jam-packed episode today, so I'm going to go ahead. I'll take us into our season recaps for the winter sports, and we'll start off on the ice as it was a chance for revenge for the Oswego State men's hockey team as they hosted their rival Plattsburgh State in Saturday's SUNYAC semifinal. It was a repeat matchup of Plattsburgh's SUNYAC championship win a season ago here at the Deb. And it was the same ending this time around as the Cardinals knocked off the Lakers in overtime on Ryan Hogg's winner for a 3-2 win. Ryan, a tough pill to swallow for Oswego and the end of so many great careers.
Yeah, another tough game here for the Lakers. And I think overall, underwhelming year, I think, for Oswego. I think they started off to a pretty good start. I mean, you knock off two number one teams in a season, but then you kind of have some laps there. You play St. John's, get some losses there. I think this year, last year was kind of the year for Oswego to take advantage because Plattsburgh and Geneseo had lost a lot of guys. And Oswego ends up getting 2 wins against Plattsburgh in that regular season. But playoff time, just a different breed kind of gets to them. I think a big thing for Oswego is coming in the next year. They'll have Cal Shell and Brandon Milberg back. But you lose a lot of top scoring. Shane Bull had a career year. Tyler Flack, those two guys were really 1 and 2 kind of in cohesion as a team so far this year. So I think it's a tough year for Oswego, a little underwhelming. I would think they had a lot of opportunities, but that Plattsburgh game, they played really well in that game overall. I just at the last minute, just went right through the 5-hole there at Cal Shell and couldn't get it done there, Zach.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Obviously, it's always going to end up being Plattsburgh that comes to bite the Lakers in the end. I mean, it really hurts so many star players being lost here. I think it's going to be a long offseason for the Lakers. They got to look at some big replacements, some big recruits to come in to replace those seniors who, I mean, a couple of them, Shane Bull, Tyler Flack, like some big-time players for Oswego, and they got a couple more that they definitely have to replace, especially on the defensive side. It was just an up-and-down year for the Lakers, and yes, I think this spell where Plattsburgh and Geneseo were struggling, the Lakers did not take advantage of it.
And you lose 6 to your 8 top scorers there as well. Going to be a tough regroup for Coach Gosik's team next year. But the Oswego State women's hockey season has come to an end after a first-round SUNYAC loss to Cortland last Saturday. The season may not have ended how the Lakers wanted it to, but had a successful year in the conference, going 12-5. And Coach Digby has found himself a goaltender for the near future in Lexi Levy.
Yeah, I mean, for defense, an unbelievable year for Oswego. They were rock solid defensively for most of these games, and it came down to a 2-1 loss. Just a couple of bounces don't go the Lakers' way, but Cortland really dominated this game in terms of shots on goal, 37-23 over Oswego. Nobody took advantage of their power play opportunities. You don't see that too often in the playoffs, and Cortland won the face-off battle, but I think it just came down to Oswego scoring. They could not find a way to score in some of these bigger games, and it really hurt them in the end. You mentioned bringing back Lexi Levy, huge. You get a goaltender for the next couple of years or so, and it should be a good sign for the Lakers, but they really need to figure out this offense. They didn't lose too much from last year into this year, but the scoring just really was a problem. They just could not find the back of the net in those big games.
No, you made the point there. Defense was so good here for Oswego this year. Really good defensive team. One of the best in SUNYAC, one of the best in the country overall, but they couldn't find a consistent scorer all year, I think, Zach. Matt Cole, 12 goals. Ashley McGrath, 11 goals. The next third goal scorer was Kenzie Malone at 7 goals. And remember, she had 3 goals there in that Buffalo State game, so you kind of take that away a little bit. I think this team, really good year overall, 12-5 in conference. They just couldn't find a consistent score. And if you had a little more scoring, we'll see what they do here in the offseason. But with a little more scoring, they can definitely figure out and be a really top and tough team next year in the SUNYAC.
Yeah, definitely agree. Well, Ryan, we move to Max Zeal Gym, where the Cinderella run of the Oswego State women's basketball team has come to an end. The Lakers traveled down to New Paltz to face the top-seeded Hawks in the SUNYAC semis. It came down to the final possession, but New Paltz held on for a 55-53 win. Ryan, Oswego made huge strides this year with their first playoff appearance in over 10 years and a playoff win in the SUNYAC quarterfinal. Definitely a season to be proud of.
No, great season overall. I mean, nothing to hold your hat out against that one. Last year, had a chance to do it last year, make the postseason. Didn't get done last year. This year, really figured it out, and I think that's kind of due to bringing in transfers like Zane Holmes and Macy Diordio, was really clutch getting those 2 players coming in this season. They had a lot of young players from last year, Giovanna White-Principio and Sydney Host, that really took a step up, I think, playing last year and more in this year. Really gave them, a step for next year, the junior and senior years, be really well. But to go toe-to-toe with the best team in the conference, I believe they only lost 1 game all year in the SUNYAC. That's huge for this Oswego team, and a team overall that you weren't sure what was going to happen. They had a lot of different incoming pieces, and I mentioned you bring the 2 transfers. But to take New Paltz, get a win on the road against Brockport, a huge win overall. Macy Diordio, huge game. And then to take them to the wire, have a shot to even win it for Oswego is really huge for this team who no one thought they had a chance this New Paltz game. So huge overall for this Oswego team, and I think next year they're just going to grow on this and get better and better and better.
Yeah, I definitely think the future's bright for this Oswego State women's basketball team. You said it. They go toe-to-toe with the top team in the SUNYAC. It came down to Brianna Fitzgerald, the SUNYAC Player of the Year, dropping 35 to take down Oswego. Like, unbelievable stuff for New Paltz. And Oswego, like you said, they weren't given a chance in this one. So to come out with just a 2-point loss, it comes down to the final possession. They bring in those transfers this year. A bright future definitely for them.
Really bright future. Well, that's all we have for this year's Wheelhouse Wire. After the break, we change equipment and talk some Oswego basketball. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Laker Connections on WTOP 10.
What's going on?
Yeah, we go on at like 11:30. It's like
No.
What do you mean no?
It's 10:30.
10:30?
Yeah, it's 10:30.
What do you mean it's 10:30?
Hey, don't touch that. That's my ladder.
Hey, man.
Whoa. You know this book was already discounted 10%?
Wow. Get a close up of that one.
Matthew,
Broadcast news.
look at that.
Can we go back inside? I want to sleep in the studio again.
Up like throwing, not able to get all that. DeCarlo on the rebound. Alex DeCarlo.
La 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 la. Free. La 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 la. La 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 la. Freeze.
We'll deep dive into our feelings in our Real Talk segment. Stay tuned because it's about to get real.
Welcome back to Laker Connections on WTOP 10. And Ryan, it's time for the Zeal Zip. Take us to Max Zeal.
Well, Zach, we will start off with some men's basketball as they had a rough weekend overall as the Oswego basketball team went against Cortland, came back in that one, and then they got the loss in the SUNYAC title against SUNY New Paltz. So SUNY New Paltz gets their chance in the SUNYAC title in the NCAA tournament. So, Zach, not the best weekend here for Oswego. They get a chance to play in the tournament next week, but definitely Coach Leon and his team not happy about this tournament.
Yeah, definitely. It was just a rough weekend overall for Oswego. I think the Lakers' biggest problem was defensively. They really struggled, and they just could not handle the offense on either side from both New Paltz and Cortland. New Paltz shot 54% from the field in the championship game. You're not going to win many games allowing a team to shoot that high percentage-wise. Cortland shot 53% in the first half of the semifinal game. So it gave Oswego problems. They went into the half Cortland with a 9-point lead. Oswego found ways to come back, but their defense, almost every year, it starts with the defensive side for Oswego. If they're strong on defense, then it sets the tone for the rest of the game. They need to pick up defensively in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I think looking back at that game, Oswego had that lead with 15 minutes left in the second half. They were up by 14 or 15. I think what hurt them is they had a stretch there where they had a couple turnovers. I think it was a Jeremiah Sparks charge call. It kind of changed the momentum of the game. It's tough because in these games, it's really a momentum swing overall. I think this Oswego team can really get better here coming up next week. I think a couple missed rotations. Kobe Bogart had a really good game in this one, 29 points. But I think overall in the season, there's been a couple games that have been close here where there's been a few different mistakes here for this Oswego team, and it's something you can definitely figure out and fix up. But I think turnovers, and not making the plays at the end of it kind of hurts this Oswego team overall.
Yeah, I mean, definitely in the end, turnovers. That Coach Leone mentioned that at the end of the game. Just a lot of turnovers, bad timing for Oswego. But looking ahead to this weekend, the Lakers, for the second consecutive season, will be hosting the NCAA tournament first and second round right here across the street at the Max Zeal. It's win or go home time, and the Lakers get a strong test on Friday, taking on the new MAC Conference champions, the Beavers of Babson College in Massachusetts. Babson come into this one knocking off the top 2 seeds in the new MAC in their last 2 games, and who says they cannot do it again to these Lakers, Ryan?
Yeah, I think the record here is a little misleading. They're a very good basketball team. They got really hot at the end of the year. They won 3 games in their conference tournament, and they knocked off Clark 2 as well. They won a national championship in 2017, so this is a team that's been in the postseason. They were in the postseason last year. They've been around. This isn't a team that kind of got lucky. They're a really good tournament team overall. Coach has 481 wins overall in his career, and they have 2 guys, Steph Baxter and Nate Amato, led the way for them. Baxter transferred from Bates College, had 48 with the 2 of them in that title game, so huge for this team overall. And I think for Babson, they have a chance here to spoil Oswego a little bit because they have the side advantage too as well. 8 players over 6'5". Oswego has a couple players, 3 or 4 players over that height, but they can really get in there and rebound and make kind of a change here for this Oswego team, and I think it's going to be tough. This is kind of a team that was a middle-seeded team, and Oswego really going to have probably a challenge of them overall. It'll be a close game overall, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the new MAC tournament. They knock off 2 teams that really had a shot to make it to the NCAA tournament if they were able to maybe even get past a team like Babson, but that big loss then knocked those teams out. Babson come in, I mean, no pressure on them. Just go out and play your game. You mentioned the size advantage. A ton of dudes are over 6'5". The Lakers, their tallest guy that really plays is 6'6" in Cartier Bowman. So definitely the size advantage goes to Babson. And you mentioned Steph Baxter, the new MAC tourney, most outstanding player. New MAC first team, he had 9 games with 20-plus points this year. I got to watch out for this weekend.
And Babson 13-5 when scoring 65-plus points. So Oswego really going to have to play good defense overall this weekend. Well, before the Lakers take home stage, we have another important game as well. Williams College from Massachusetts will face off with DeSales from Pennsylvania at 3:30 Friday in the Max Zeal. Both teams coming. This one is at large bids with DeSales at 24-3 and Williams at 21-6. DeSales has won 21 of their last 22, while Williams has had a deep basketball history, and this should make for a really good one, Zach, coming up here on Friday.
Yeah, really excited for this one, Ryan. As DeSales and Williams, you see here, DeSales had 24-3. They went undefeated in conference, but lost in the championship game in the MAC Freedom Conference. And Williams, also great in conference, 9-1, also lost the championship game on their home floor. So both these teams coming in with a bit of a chip on their shoulder to prove that that championship game definitely didn't prove who they were. The thing that stands out here, though, DeSales, the points per game, they are ridiculously strong on offense. They are 7th in D3 in field goal percentage at 49% this year. But Williams, on the other hand, very strong defensively. 1st in D3 in 3-point defense and 9th in D3 in points allowed per game. So should be a really strong matchup between these 2 teams.
Going to be a really good one overall. And DeSales, a team kind of like Oswego, went undefeated in their conference and that lost that title game there at the end. But both teams allow under 65 points a game on the defensive end. Williams allows 59.3 points per game, so they might not be as good offensively, because I think DeSales is around 77 points per game on the offensive side. But defensively, really good teams overall. And defense is going to matter in this one. Who gets off to that hot start offensively is going to be huge, and should be a really good game. All 4 teams are very good teams, and this 4-game stretch here at the Max Steel is going to be huge, Zach, going forward here.
Definitely. After the break, we're excited to have Cartier Bowman from the Oswego State men's basketball team, who joined us this week in Max Steel Gymnasium. You won't want to miss it. This is Laker Connections on WTOP 10.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
paint on that black.
Look at the bling. Look at do we got a diamond tester on?
Yeah, that's getting bad. Yep.
10
out of 10 recommend on Yelp.
We scored?
Yeah, we scored. We're going to the playoffs.
I can't believe I missed that. Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone.
What? I should take your phone away.
No. I'll call for a ride.
Hey, why does my face look like that? I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine.
I'm gonna need that back.
No.
Kevin.
Welcome back to Laker Connection. Zach Malum and Ryan Joyce here with Cartier Bowman of the Oswego State men's basketball team. Cartier, thanks for taking the time with us. How you doing?
Of course, anytime. Feeling good, can't complain. Got a big game coming up this weekend, just trying to lock in.
Yeah, so obviously a tough weekend for the team last weekend. Coming off the loss, how have you guys now shifted focus to this NCAA tournament?
Man, that loss definitely hurt. It did stick with us for a while. I'll probably say once we found out who we played, we had to get right past it. We know this is a whole different tournament now. We're back to 0-0 again, and Babson's a great team. We have a real big chance to just playing real good basketball this weekend. I think this will help us a lot with our confidence, get us back to where we need to be.
So you guys come off, obviously lost the SUNYAC title. You get a chance to, at the tournament show, see you guys are back home again. Second year in a row, the host. What's the confidence level in the locker room? Do you guys get to come back here and play 2 games back at home?
Man, just show for our fans, the community. We me personally, I feel like we let them down, and I feel like this weekend we could just be able to give back to them, let them have some fun, let them see us, show that we really are who we say we are. And I think this weekend is a brand new opportunity for us to prove that point.
So last year you guys had a big run to the Elite Eight. A lot of guys have been here 5-6 years. Your second year here too as well. You went on a big run last year. What's one thing you took from that run last year that you can take into this year knowing to go into the NCAA tournament?
Man, one game at a time. Do not look too far ahead. And once that game's over, if you have the chance to win, focus on the next team. Don't try to worry about who will play if we win, what would that bracket do. Focus on one game at a time, and we'll be perfectly fine.
So let's have a bit of fun here. You're a New Jersey guy. What is one food that you miss the most while you're at school from home that you can't really get in Oswego?
Wawa. It's like a gas station slash Subway slash fast food slash anything slash grocery store, anything you need at Wawa. That's my go-to spot. I at least eat Wawa 3 times a day when I'm home. So that's my go-to. I miss that around here.
That's a good way to describe it, kind of just anything hot and ready, grab, good to go.
Anything you could think of, Wawa's the spot.
I kind of wish Burn Dairy was more like that too. You know, a little bit more hot food stuff ready to go.
But Burn Dairy
it's some good stuff.
It has some good stuff, but to work up to Wawa, it's levels.
Yeah, definitely a good one.
Yeah.
So we can just go back to. I kind of want to hear a little bit. How did Leon get you to come to Oswego? He made kind of a joke at the press conference the other day. It was kind of like I had to call him a million times to get him here. Can you just kind of go through how your recruitment process to get here was, and kind of what overall sold you to come here to Oswego?
So actually, it went through a friend of mine that I went to St. Rose with, Sean Dady. He's a Syracuse kid. He's known Leon, playing golf with Leon. He actually reached out to Leon saying, yo, you should take a look at Cartier. He's entering the transfer portal, and he really wants to win. Doesn't matter where, he just wants to be able to contribute to a winning team. So Leon reached out to me in the beginning. Of course, I kind of didn't really look at it as much as I should have, so he always makes that joke, yo, it took me like 2 months to call you to answer my calls. I did, I committed to somewhere else before, that didn't work out, And I just knew with Leon, as soon as I entered back in the transfer portal from my school I committed to, he was the first one calling me. I don't know how he knew, but he was the first one to call me and say, yo, what happened, blah, blah, all this, blah, blah, blah. Came on a visit. He said, no, just come on a visit. We be doing too much talking on the phone. Let me see you in person. We just sit down, chat it up. My mom came up with me. And my visit, it was Harbor Fest. We just fell in love with it since. Did a little more research on watching film, watching the guys, see how they did in the tournament. His winning record, I was like, there's no way I could pass this up for my last 2 years. Opportunity to compete at the highest level of D3 basketball.
And just quickly, so we kind of talked about your favorite place back home. If you're bringing in a recruit and you're telling them stuff about Oswego, what's your favorite place to go to in Oswego? Could be a place to go, could be a restaurant to go. What's your go-to kind of spot?
So people gonna make fun of me for this. It's Sub Shop. That's my favorite.
I'd say it's not a bad pick. I like Sub Shop.
That's my favorite place. If it's nice outside, I'll take them to Cam's. Kind of walk up and down the strip a little bit, enjoy the scenery. That would be my go-to places.
And just to finish things off, just final thoughts heading into Friday's game. You guys take on Babson. Should be a good one here.
Man, let's lock in. They're a good team. Can't look past them. So we're really focused. Game plan. We got our game plan. Let's have a good 2 more days of practice, prep. Just come ready to play on Friday night, 6 o'clock. Hope to see everybody there.
Appreciate the time.
Thank you, Cartier, for joining us here today. When we're back from break, the first Lakers showdown of the season. You won't want to miss it on WTOP 10.
I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
We're here for you, we're here for you. This is your channel too. With sports and news and what to do, we're here for you. It's your TV, you're watching WTOP. Your TV, thanks for watching WTOP.
La 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 la. Free. La 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 la. La 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 la. Freeze.
Welcome back to Laker Connections. I'm your moderator of the evening, Matt Sharamita, and it is time for the first Laker Showdown, Season 21. Guys, are you as excited as I am tonight?
It's like a brand new year, like a brand new season. We're kind of in the winter right now, but this is Lakers Showdown season. We're, stamping it today on leap year or whatever today is. I don't know.
I'm stoked. Let's do it, Matt.
Well, you guys know how this show works. I'll keep it short and sweet. These two, they're going to whisper sweet nothings and win me over in a best 2 out of 3 debate. Let's get right into it. First question. The men's hockey team, they get heartbroken by the Plattsburgh Cardinals in SUNYAC championships for 2 consecutive years. This close but no cigar postseason story, it seems to be getting old for the Laker faithful. And with how many seniors are graduating, I ask you guys, what do they need to improve most this offseason?
Ooh.
Let's start with you, Zach. New year, new Zach Malmund. There we go.
I like it. All right, I'm going with a goal scorer on the power play. They're losing Shane Bull. He was their top power play goal scorer. He had 11 power play goals. The next best was 4 power play goals. I think it was Tyler Flack. Shocker there. I think it's going to end up being a power play sniper type player and really just putting pucks in the back of the net. The Lakers are losing a ton of scoring, and I mean a ton of their top scoring, especially the top two guys. So I think looking at that, the Lakers really need to add more scoring to fill that void that is going to be open with those guys leaving. I think getting that power play snipers is crucial for Oswego next year.
Yeah, it's big. They're losing a lot of scoring going into next year, but I think I'm going to flip that around, kind of the power play and just defense overall for Oswego. Going back to that Geneseo game, I kind of looked at it, guys, where it was Tyson Gilmore and a couple guys there for Geneseo making plays in the power play, and they couldn't stop them scoring defensively. I think offense is huge, but if you're not playing defense in these big games and making plays against really good teams, you kind of put yourself behind the 8 ball overall. So getting better on the defensive end. They lost Ryan Dickinson. He went pro. He was huge there on the power play defense. So getting a guy, someone like that, a bigger player here for Oswego is going to be huge overall stretch for next season.
You can't win if you don't score, Matt.
You got to stop them.
I'm gonna go with Zach on this one. I think they do need to pick up another sniper. I mean, it helped them out this year in those games where they did give up a lot of goals. I think they need to go get a sniper. Got a lot of time left, Ryan. We'll get into question 2. The D3 NCAA tournament tips off tomorrow. Oswego State looking to bounce back after the loss in the SUNYAC championships. Looking ahead into this weekend, if you have to pick one guy, who do you think will be the biggest difference maker in this year's tourney? Ryan, let's come back to you.
Okay, this might not be the biggest pick here, but I'm going to go with a guy off the bench. Caleb Cook is going to be huge here for Oswego. I think a 3-and-D guy, someone playing defense. Coach Leon was talking about all press conference. It was playing defense and making sure you're in the right rotation when guys are up the top of the key, down low. Caleb Cook, in a lot of those games they came back, I mentioned the Oneonta game, the New Paltz game, a couple of those big games in the regular season, huge plays. Made a 3 from the corner, made some big defensive plays to end the game. I think a guy off the bench is going to be huge. You have Jeremiah, you have Aki, you have Cartier, you have those guys offensively, but you need that other guy off the bench to make plays. And I think defensively and from the 3-point range, when Caleb Cook is scoring within 10 to 12 points, he's huge here for the Oswego team.
Shout out Caleb Cook. I think I'm going with Cartier Bowman. I mean, we just spoke to him. I think he's a huge X factor this weekend just based on Oswego's undersized, and they know it. I think rebounds are huge, especially keeping the rebound margin close. I think that's a huge thing. You may not win the rebound battle, but keeping it close is huge for this team. It keeps them in games, and I mean, you cannot win a game if you're getting absolutely pounded on the board. So I think Cartier Bowman down low is huge for the Lakers this weekend.
Yeah, but I think stepping up in these big games, you kind of have a guy who might not be the number 1 or number 2 guy in the scouting report, making big plays here, and especially an NCAA tourney game is going to be huge for Oswego down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, they played terrible defense all tournament, so I got to go with the 3-and-D guy. You need the guy who can shoot the 3 ball. They didn't shoot well either, and then they played kind of atrocious defense here at home during the SUNYAC championships.
Respect the pick.
I'm going to go with, I think it's a great pick. I'm going to go with Ryan. 1-1 game. Let's go. Last question. We've talked a bunch about championships here tonight and tournaments, and with one of the most exciting months in sports coming up, I ask you guys, which sport has the best championship series or game in all levels? Let's go with you, Zach.
So I can go kind of. I'm going with the one game kind of championship. Whether that could be the Super Bowl, that could be like March Madness, like a final, the championship game. I like that. I don't want to sit there for game 3 and then game 4 and then game 5. It's too much. I like it. You decide it. One game, winner take all. Who's the better team in the game? I think it shows right there. Yes, in the NBA, the NHL, you get the 7-game series. MLB, 7-game series, it's too much. I'm going with the 1-game series.
You've had some pretty bad takes on the show. That's a
Whoa!
I mean, to not watch a 7-game series? Are you kidding me? It's got to be the World Series, Matt. Are you kidding me, guys? Like, Game 1 through Game 7, how are you going to outlast a team? Game 7 in the postseason in October? We have Mr. November for the Yankees? Are you kidding me? You don't want to watch multiple games of postseason series who can outlast each other? That's a crazy take there. I think got to be the MLB postseason, the World Series in particular. I mean, even going back to the Cubs and Indians World Series or Guardians a couple of years ago, that was a great Game 7, huge. It's got to be baseball.
No, come on, one game.
One
game. It's got to be baseball. Come on, man. It's got to be the 7-game series. There's so much history here. Come on,
It changes game by game.
Come on. It's winner take all.
Let's go, guys. Come on. But that'll do it for episode 1 of a new season of Laker Connection. Special thanks to Cartier Bowman for being on the show during a hectic week of basketball. And Lakers fans, make sure you're there to support and cheer on your Lakers this whole weekend across the 104. We'll see you next time.